Hello, everybody. I'm Father Christopher Tiano. I'm pastor of St. Paul VI Parish in Hamden, Connecticut. St. Paul VI Parish is a community of believers in Jesus Christ who are united in our commitment in loving service to worship, evangelize, and give. We welcome all people to join in our vision to be a light in the darkness. And this is Light in the Darkness, our video cast that we do occasionally to talk about our parish and talk about people in our parish. And this week, I'm so happy to have Naishi Jacob and Nick Wheeler with us as our guests. Nick is someone who is in our young adult group, but has also gone through Alpha, and now you're going to be MC of our next Alpha, I understand?
Yes,
right?
Sir.
And Naishi has been a table leader for Alpha for our parents, with our young people going through Alpha, and now her seventh grade daughter is going through Alpha again at our school. We have Alphas going on all over the place here at St. Paul VI Parish. And we're going to talk about Alpha because February 26th, which is the Thursday after a week later than the it's too complicated to say. I'm going to try to say the day after Ash Wednesday is a Thursday. A week later we begin Alpha, but I couldn't figure out how to say it, so I got it close enough. So we're talking about that. So Naishi, tell me about your experiences going through Alpha.
So I did Alpha twice. One was in person and the other one was virtual. The first was in virtual, actually. What struck me in both situations was the sense of community, and that's very important for me, to have a sense of community with people that I know or people that I don't know and find commonalities with, and people who have experiences that are very different from mine. So that was one of the most fundamental things about Alpha that really struck out to me, is people that you share, literally break bread with, and you exchange recipes and you watch videos and you talk about how do those principles apply in your life. And then really, and at the end of the day, you break it up with dessert and you go home and you meet them in church the next week, and it just continues, a sense of community and belonging.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, Nick, you're going to be our MC at the next Alpha. What would be your quick encouragement to someone to come to Alpha?
I would encourage people to come to Alpha. Probably a lot of it has to do with what you just said, and it's a lot of why I originally went to Alpha in the first place, was because when I started Alpha, it was coming at a time where I was sort of just coming back into the church, and I was coming back at a time where, I really didn't know a whole lot of people after having been away from the church for so long. And it comes back to what you said about community, right? Alpha was a great way for me to get to know a lot of the people that I was going to be sharing the church with, and it let me get to know a lot of those people and connect with them on sort of that deeper level, find that commonality. And then even just in little ways, right? Just kind of seeing them on a weekly basis, outside of the church, it gave me an avenue to come back to church and, be able to see those people and, break bread with those people and enjoy Mass with those people. So if you're anything like me, for me, it all had to do with community and just kind of getting back into church and growing that greater sense of community for me.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, Naishi, you have young children,
Mm-hmm.
and we teach our young children about the faith, and
Mm-hmm.
your children certainly know the faith very well. They're servers, they're wonderful kids, but Alpha's not a catechetical program. It's not a teaching program.
Mm-hmm.
How would you characterize it then? If it's not a teaching program, what does it do?
To me, it's very simple. It's an application program. There's the theoretical aspect that we all read through in our scriptures, or you hear it as an adult or a child going through. How do you now take those principles and apply it in your life, regardless of your life situation, your life circumstance, and the social hats we all wear? We all wear different hats. A mother, a daughter, a sister, a cousin, a wife, pick a hat. And you're a caretaker, a caregiver, whether you work or not. In all of those hats, there is some way you can apply everything that you've learned about. And that's how I would characterize Alpha, as an application-based program.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful way of looking at it. You're going to have to top that. That's going to be hard.
I don't know if I can top that.
Yeah, that's great. But you could talk about, Nick, one of the things that I've noticed about Alpha is the breadth and the variety of age groups, the breadth and variety of people. You know, we have people who come in who are very, very churched, and we have people who come in like you who maybe were away for a while, or we have people who come in who just aren't churched at all. So how do you find that variety? How does Alpha work to speak to that group, to that breadth, that variety of people?
It's so all-encompassing. I mean, it's, for me, I keep kind of coming back to that word journey when I'm talking about the Alpha program. Like, I have tried explaining it to people, and I've been asked about Alpha in the past, and I remember getting questions from people that were like, is it a course? Not really. I wouldn't really call it a course so much. You know, so is it a session? Is it a course? Is it a class? I've been asked if it's a class. Well, no, it's not really a class. So I kind of keep coming back to that word journey. And, you know, Alpha does a good job of gathering people regardless of what stage they're in that journey. So it's really for just about anybody. I remember the first time I went through it, and it was kind of like the first time you went through, where mine was all virtual. And I wasn't really sure what to expect, and I didn't know what, you know, how many people were going to be there, and, you know, who would be there, right? And so for me, seeing that variety of people of all age groups and all different backgrounds, you know, that for me, that was a pretty amazing thing. And so that kind of encouraged me the second time around, sort of like the way you did it, where the second time I did it in person. And I felt a lot better about being able to kind of do more for the Alpha program in person, because I know that, you know, it's, you know, you're reaching a little bit of everybody, right? So, you know, for me, that was a really encouraging thing for me to see, right? And, you know, kind of going back to just the program and that sense of community and what's there in terms of, you know, the videos that we watch every week, and being able to sit down and kind of break bread with people. You know, you really do. You get that mix of everybody, and it seems like everybody, there's something in it for everybody, and everybody that I've talked to, regardless of background, what age, whatever, everybody seems to get something out of Alpha.
You know, I like to think of Alpha as we bring Jesus and God the Father and the Holy Spirit to people, and we bring people to Jesus, to God the Father, and to the Holy Spirit. And I purposely did the Trinity out of order, because we start with Jesus in Alpha. It's very interesting. I think for me, it's an Anglican program, actually, that comes out of England. And we do a Catholic version of it. There's Catholic speakers in it, but it's not about the Catholic faith. And we have a richness of the Catholic faith, and we do so much with the Catholic faith. It's about meeting Jesus, meeting the Holy Spirit, and, you know, letting the Holy Spirit change our lives. Now, one of the things I've noticed is how the Holy Spirit, through Alpha, has really changed our parish. You know, we're so open to the Holy Spirit at St. Paul VI Parish, and we've seen all sorts of new things come up, and new programs, and new ministries, and that's, I think, because of this attitude that Alpha gives us. So let's talk about hospitality. What's your experience of hospitality in Alpha?
I think it starts with, even before, when you decide you want to do Alpha, even the registration process to me is part of the hospitality, because you make it open and welcome and easy for people to even do this, from the advertisement about Alpha to the registration. And then once you're in there, so once you're in there, you show up, you know, it's all organized, it's laid off, it's beautifully arranged, the food is magnificent. People are making this wonderful dessert, because I love desserts. I'm always focused on the dessert more than the main course. And, you know, you get all this amazing food that you eat, that people have taken the time and energy to do, and you realize that, again, that is part of giving back, and that is part of fellowship. And of course, nothing even better than sitting with a table full of people doing that.
Yeah. What's your experience of hospitality in Alpha?
For me, it helped me retain a lot more. And I think that can be said for a lot of the people that go through Alpha too, because it's not so much like you just you come to Alpha, you watch a video and you go home. There's a lot more to it than that. And the hospitality, to me, it helped me so much with, retaining what was offered by the Alpha program, keeping the people that I went through Alpha with around me and kind of having that commonality. It's almost like a big family in a lot of ways when you go through Alpha and you see those same people every week and you get to break bread, and even just the hospitality team, they make it so easy. Like you said, just everything from signing up to Alpha, guiding you through Alpha once you get there. It's an amazing experience.
I wish I can have the experience of going through it for the first time again.
Yeah.
I've gone through it and it was wonderful, and it's a great thing. So, what do? We invite people to come to Alpha. If you're watching this, we'd love to have you at our next Alpha. And if you're watching this after February 26th, there's probably another Alpha beginning then too.
Yep.
So simply go to our website, go to my parish app, go to the QR code that's in our bulletin, call the parish office, stop Naishi at church after Mass, stop Nick at church after Mass, and you can find out about Alpha. And I hope you join the three of us to be a light in the darkness.